Okay, I'd like to call the Joint Special School Building Committee to order at the Nashua High School North Boardroom. It's Thursday, May 22nd, 2025, and it's 7 p.m. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Sure. Alderman Dowd?
Present.
Alderman Wilshire? Here. Alderman Timmons? Hi.
Don't forget to turn your mics on.
Yes. I don't see Alderman Sullivan. Is he not coming tonight?
No, he's out of town on business.
Okay. I don't see Alderman Lopez. Miss Raymond?
Here.
Miss Bishop is here. Mr. Johnson?
Here.
Miss Daniels-Williams?
Here.
And Miss Prin?
Here.
All right, we have a quorum. Ms. Daniel Williams will be leading us in the prayer, and Alderman Timmons will give us the Pledge of Allegiance.
Almighty God, we have the high honor and the serious duty to manage the educational affairs of our beloved city. Fill us, O God, with a spirit of unity and understanding which enable us to face our multiple problems with a serene mind, with justice, charity for all, so that any and all decisions made by us will always be for the betterment and greater happiness of all our fellow citizens. So help us God. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. If there are no objections, I'm going to move to waive the reading of the meeting of April 24th, 2025 and place them on file. Remarks by Chairman. Glad to see everyone here despite the weather outside and the lack of parking. But should be a short meeting. Mr. Smith, do you have anything right now or do you want to wait?
Oh, wait.
Okay. So we'll have a construction manager's report from Harvey.
Hello, everybody. Brendan Orell, Harvey Construction, project manager. Give you a quick update on Birch Hill and Main Dunstable, what we have going on down there as we plan for the summer exterior improvements. And then I'm going to hand it over to my partner here, Mike Space, and he will walk us through New Searles and everything that we have going on down there as well. Down at Birch Hill and Main Dunstable, it's been a little bit busier of a month this month. Interior to the building, we've been working on the elevator modernization. The elevator is approximately 2 weeks away from completion at this point. Had a mix-up with some components that arrived and had to work through procurement of a few new parts, and those came in very quickly to maintain the pace that we are pushing for to try and do inspections on that very early on into the school year, if not prior to that, or into the summer, if not prior to that. So quite a bit of progress at the interior. At the exterior, last month I had showed some images of the portable classrooms at Main Dunstable, having been transported off-site. We have since removed those foundations, restored the area, and loamed and seeded the area as well to get it back to growth as the rainy weather helps us out here. It has created a couple of washouts, and we've been cleaning up areas and working along through it. So getting that grown up and back to a restored state. We've also been working on interior to both schools, some miscellaneous specialties, just some small items that we had identified during punch list, and other items that have arisen and we've addressed. Over at Birch Hill, we've also been working on some exterior site restoration. So around the rear of the school along the perimeter access road, we've been graveling the sides, cleaning up some of the, construction damage, some of the ruts and things that have been created as vehicles have parked along the road and just starting to clean up the site. We also went in over the April break and installed some new toilet partitions within the gymnasium restrooms. And that is pretty much everything that we've been doing these last, the last 4 weeks down at Birch Hill and Main Dunstable, gearing up really for the summer. So it'll become very busy over the next 4 weeks, once the students depart on 6/17. Following that, give a few days for, teachers, faculty, staff to work through some items, and then we will get into the full site restoration. So working on now, just setting up a meeting with both principals, walk them through kind of how items will progress over the summer. And then really procuring all the parts and pieces is what we've been doing the last few months so we can tackle all the exterior improvements.
So we had a discussion with the two principals this morning. They're very happy with all the work that's gone on. And you just want to touch on the transformer?
Absolutely. So one of the big items that we are planning out for Main Dunstable is the transformer replacement. So we had procured the transformer itself late last year and presented a PCO for that item. That is the main piece of equipment that provides power to the building. So we've been able to work very closely with Eversource, the power utility company, and they've actually been extremely helpful. They have provided us a few different solutions that have been able to reduce some of the cost and some of the burden of the work that we're going to be tackling over the course of the summer. So eliminating some of the items that I had presented as allowances and confirming that we can keep those elements in place, reduce that cost, and return those as savings to you folks. So it's been a very beneficial conversation. And we are actually in a state where they want to replace the pole that is on site as we're doing the work. Just an opportunity for them to replace a damaged pole. They're even working with us to, one of the things they can commonly do if you see a pole on the side of the road that somebody's crashed into it, they'll cut it in half and really take the lines and move them off to the next pole, secure the pole temporarily that they've cut in half. That is what they're going to do for us. So it's approximately a 48-hour shutdown, which is very, very brief. Originally, we were anticipating anywhere in the range of 7 to 10 days. So very excited to get that done.
But is that when we have a generator, right, that's going in
We
temporarily?
do. We will be bringing in a generator. We also had a meeting this afternoon with Mr. Connors and on Mr. Smith's team and Chris Lassard to go over the security provisions. So we're also putting in both temporary security and fire alarm provisions. We've worked closely with both Chris Lassard in the security department and then also the Nashua Fire Rescue and Michael Duvarney. And he's proposed a solution that, typically there's a hard line connection to call out on the fire alarm. So during that period of time, he's allowing us to put in what is called a cellular repeater that dials out to a monitoring company, which is, a really effective solution to maintain monitoring of the building. And again, reduce costs by not having to bring in a uniform fire watch for that period of 48 hours.
Also, that transformer was a rental belonging to Eversource, the new one we bought, so I have no idea how much the rental was. Do you, Sean? No.
7-year payback period. 30+ years.
No, all right, so it's paid.
So transformers that we purchased is about a 7-year payback. And we typically have transformers. Well, there's one at Birch Hill, was there since beginning, 68 maybe?
95, that one
So it
was
was replaced
replaced.
at that point,
Yep.
okay. So still got 30+ years. So 7 years return on investment is a good way to do it.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'll hand it over to Mr. Space. Been a very busy month down at New Searles.
Hello, everyone. Mike Space, Harvey Construction Assistant Project Manager. Currently, we are in the blue area on our little phasing plan up there, just to give you a little reference. We started by mobilizing on a site on April 21st, where we established some temporary walls, temporary fencing, and we also moved the entrance, the main entrance, to a temporary entrance right over there where the cursor is. So that way, the students will be able to enter and exit out of the building and not be around the construction area. We completed our cut cap and make safe. and also completed demolition and abatement. So that is all complete. Framing, our light gauge metal framing is essentially complete. We are starting to work on masonry walls, I believe, next week. Our rough for MEP has started, along with underground plumbing. And shoring for the masonry openings. So for the new entrance, we had to put in some temporary shoring so that way the bricks wouldn't come down. And we have completed those openings, and now they are temporarily secured for the new storefront to go in. Starting in early June, we will be working on the site excavation for that new entrance canopy and also with the concrete of the footing and then erecting steel shortly after. We also set up a temporary fire alarm. So we essentially in the construction area, we plugged all of these sprinklers. We put in some new heat detectors up in the ceiling. And we also put in a temporary panel. So in case of an activation, the temporary panel would trigger the main panel and essentially let everyone know that there's an issue to get out of the building. I believe that's pretty much it for right now. As of right now, we don't have a ton going on, but coming next month, we will have a lot, so.
The only thing that shocked me is when I went to that school is this part of that school is still using chalkboards. And they took the chalkboards down in that blue section. And I just can't believe that they're still
Old
using
chalkboards.
chalk. Anyway,
And one element that Rick and I were discussing prior to the meeting, so as Mike and Sam Powers, our superintendent, have been working over the last month, we were performing some demolition in one area of the school, and I'll show you that directly here on the screen. So if you look at the restroom directly off on the blue area on the left side, so as you can see, the new entryway is being carved through that existing restroom. So there was some demolition that was performed inside that restroom. As we perform that demolition, what is happening behind there is there's two walls and all of the pipes travel within those two walls. And there's a restroom directly above this as well. So those walls span all the way up to the roof level. Back in the day, there was these old roof drains up on the roof. And they used to actually just discharge out the side of the building. That was something that was common practice in, the 1970s and so on. And they've since, they now tie those into interior drains. They bring them back to drainage structures and discharge them in accordance with DES requirements, EPA requirements. As we were performing the demolition, we found that one of those roof drains had likely become disconnected at one point and had been leaking between those two wet walls. And it was happening on the second floor. So when we performed some of that exploratory demolition, we found that some of the decking on the second floor between these two structural beams had been degraded. So we are working closely now with H.L. Turner, Mr. Smith, and the engineering team to address this item while we are working on this project. So Mike's been working very closely with his superintendent and with the design team to come up with a comprehensive structural solution and ensure that the issue is addressed prior to our departure.
so we're fixing that as part of the project. Also, we don't believe there are any other places that have the same problem, but they are checking the other places where they had the roof drains, just to be sure. Any questions for Harvey? All right,
Thank you.
yep. Now, Sean,
Okay, I have 4 items for your approval tonight before we get the invoices. First one is for an increase to existing purchase order to RL Masonry and Construction Company. They did all the cleaning on the roofs at Stello Stadium, and we found an additional area they needed to address. They didn't have it in their scope of work, so we agreed to an increase of $1,500. We have Alderman Dowd who approved it previously, but we're looking for your concurrence with his decision to increase it. So it's $1,500 increase to the purchase order to RL Masonry and Construction Company.
So I'll need a motion to approve the action that was taken to increase the RL Masonry and Construction Company's work by $1,500.
I'll make the motion.
All right, Ms. Raymond made the motion. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Sean?
Second item was a request from the athletic director and also the people running the stadium for us at Stellos to replace the sideline benches. Benches that they have are 24 years old now. So these, the old ones we will stick inside the locker room, and these will be on the field. And that purchase order is to Pioneer Athletics in amount of $4,480.
So I'll need a motion to allow the contract with Pioneer Athletics for the amount of $4,480 for sideline benches at Stella Stadium.
I'll second the motion, but I had a question. So we've learned that there's some funding for these projects. Where will this one come from? Will this come out of the special revenue, or is this coming out of the athletic?
This will come out of the bond money that was already approved for the city to renovate Stellos.
Yeah, most of the things that we've had budgeted are under budget. The costs are under the budget, so we have money left. The monies that we're talking about are in a less than ideal written executive trust fund. And we're actually going to be fixing some of these trust funds, the wording. And so at the current time, until we check with legal what can and can't be covered under that, we're going to do it under the bond.
Thank you.
Do you still want to make that motion?
Oh, I'm going to second the motion.
Oh, no, you make the
think,
motion.
huh?
He was just looking for somebody to move it, so you're moving the motion.
I will move the motion forward. That's why I thought that I could open it up to
yeah.
ask the question, because I just wanted to know which account it was coming from.
That's fine. If there are no other questions, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. John?
Next item is for an industrial hygienist. So we probably recall we had an industrial hygienist on board already. They've been with us since the beginning at Maine Dunstable and Birch Hill. So we have added replacing the VCT of the flooring at Maine Dunstable. So we asked this company we've been working with for a cost for them to monitor that. They came in with a number that I thought was absurdly high. So we decided to go out and talk to other companies. Actually, Brendan had his finger on a number of companies in the business and assisted in getting bids. We received 3, and shuffle my deck here. So I'm recommending we hire the Lawson Group at a cost of $5,000 for abatement monitoring at Maine Dunstable.
That's Lawson?
The Lawson Group,
Not to $5,000, you said?
5,000.
Yes. So I'll need a motion to approve the industrial hygienist work at Maine Dunstable office area to the Lawson Group for not to exceed $5,000.
So moved.
So moved by Ms. Wiltshire, Alderman Wiltshire. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Sean?
Okay, the next item is, if you're familiar with back to Stello Stadium, the concourse, if you That's the structure in front of the stadium itself, in front of the grandstands. If you look up, all the paint's been peeling. I want to say it's been peeling a year or two after they painted it. Suspect they didn't take the proper precautions to do the proper prep work. So we went out and obtained quotes from 4 companies, and the spreadsheet was in your package. We're not suggesting we go with a low bid, however. We have bids at $62,000 and $75,000 and $121,000 for what you'd consider traditional painting. We are recommending we go with Rhino Shield. So Rhino Shield it's a painting system that it's ceramic based. When they apply it, it's sprayed on. It's up to 6 to 8 times thicker than a regular paint system. The consistency of it is such that it can move a little bit, so it's not going to crack when it dries. And it comes with a 6-year warranty, whereas most painting comes with a 1-year warranty. So I have all sorts of literature on the product. We did check it out and worked with a company to come up with a good price. And that price is $81,950.
$81,150?
$81,950.
$950. Okay, I actually addressed this with the DPW. We just had their meeting this afternoon, and they fully agree. This, if you paint it, you may be repainting it every 1 or 2 years. The paint just won't hold. This is guaranteed for 6 years. And according to them, it'll probably last twice that long, or even more. And so because of the guarantees, it makes more sense to use this particular bid. So would somebody like to make a motion to award the painting contract for the Stella Stadium to Rhino Shield in the amount of $81,950?
I'll make the motion.
Ms. Raymond made the motion. Discussion? Yes.
When was it last painted?
I don't know if you were
2001, I
born.
believe.
Oh, okay.
It's quite a while ago, but it's been rusted,
Oh, yeah, I've seen it.
healing for
Yeah.
a long, long time.
It's a galvanized surface, and I don't think they prepped it properly when they put the paint on
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Which makes sense to go with someone who knows what they're doing
Yes.
with that surface.
Oh, yeah, they came and they're going to pre-treat the surface. Actually, if they were gonna paint it, they'd even have to pre-treat this, sandblast all that other stuff off before. And the painting companies are only guarantee it for a year. But this is 6 years and maybe even longer than that. You know, it'll be far nicer too. Okay, if there's no other discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, motion carries. Anything else, Sean, before invoices?
No, ready for invoices.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, I'll be reading from the agenda. We have one invoice from Brock International these are the support things for the chairs, so they don't sink into this turf and destroy the turf. We did receive those. They're stored on site already. $9,252. We have 2 invoices from Energy Efficient for their MEP work at Birch Hill and Main Dunstable totaling $364,834.80. 2 invoices from Harriman for their design contract administration at Birch Hill and Main Dunstable totaling $13,777.50. 3 invoices from Harvey for work at Birch Hill, Main Dunstable, and New Searles, $1,388,143.65. 1 invoice from O'Rourke, they're the fencing company for work at Stellos, $2,500. 1 invoice from RAD Sports, they are the company that installed the turf at Stellos Stadium, $236,188.76. 1 invoice from RL Masonry for their cleanup work at Stellos Stadium for $7,300. and 2 invoices from the Turner Group for their design work at New Searles totaling $24,040. By project, we have $1,732,861.03 for Birch Hill Main Dunstable, $57,974.92 for the security vestibule project, and $255,240.76 for Stello Stadium, for a grand total of $2,046,076.71.
So I'll need a motion to approve the invoices for Birch Hill, Maine Dunstable, $1,732,861.03. Security vestibule invoices, $57,974.92. And Stella Stadium, $255,240.76. For total invoices to be paid this month, $2,046,076.71.
So moved.
So moved by Ms. Alderman Timmons.
Yeah.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. All right. Comments by committee members? I had discussion with the superintendent. Evidently, they're still working on the agreement with Bishop Girton on the ability for them to play at Stellus. In the interim, Bishop Girton is playing at Stellus. They seem to be coming to the conclusion there. So as I understand the process, they'll come to a tentative agreement. They'll have to bring it before the Board of Education for approval. And they'll have to also be approved by legal. So that's all I have.
I have something.
Yes.
Oh, thank you,
Alderman
Chair.
Timmons.
My granddaughter is in a concert, and I'm sitting here, Dr. Chris. So I'm going to run to Dr. Chris, and hopefully they're not done yet. But it's their 5th grade end-of-year concert. Yeah. Yeah, no. I'll have 2 in middle school and got 4 in high school.
Oh, boy.
Ooh. All right, so we don't need a non-public. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
A universal motion to adjourn?
Yes.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. We're adjourned at 7:28.
That was quick.